Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a Shadow Steelix team that actually a viewer suggested in the comment section. So if you have some interesting teams that I should try out, also feel free to share them down below. And of course, if you have not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. But anyway, we're going to encounter here a very toxic team in the beginning already. We're running the Annihilate, the Dugong, as well as the Steelix in the back. Also, I am running Breaking Swipe. Why am I running Breaking Swipe? I have no idea as well. But Breaking Swipe still is going to be an interesting move because we're going to be able to get there at the same time as Psychic Fangs. Basically, all of this kind of happened because I kind of thought that Psychic Fangs would be 40 energy and not 35, but apparently it is also 35 energy, is it? Yeah, it is. So like, there's no reason to go for Breaking Swipe, to be fair, nowadays, so yeah, maybe don't do that. Sure, sometimes you're going to have the option to do super effective damage against Pokemon like a Goodra, for example, but yeah, it's more likely that especially Earthquake actually I feel like is the better move to go for. Yes, Crunch is also cool for matchups like, for example, the Skarmory, but I feel like especially for this team, Earthquake can be kind of cool, so Breaking Swipe, while I have it on here, I should have not have it on. Honestly, I was thinking the entire time that Psychic Fangs is 40 energy, because Poison Fang is 40 energy, but yeah, apparently Fang moves are not all the same, they're not all created equally, and so definitely something to take note of. Rather go for Crunch or Earthquake, decide for yourself. I think Earthquake is a little bit better for this team, but still, interesting team nonetheless. I think this team is actually kind of an interesting one for sure. Definitely can work out, but also has some major issues as well, which we're going to talk about today here as well. Still kind of went positive with this team, I think, which is kind of cool. So here we're going to encounter the Goodra against us, which we can kind of nearly farm down. And here's one of the biggest issues for this team. It is going to be Feraligatr. We don't have really an answer for this Pokemon, and this is something that I only really realized when I played with this team. And yeah, it is not really ideal. As you're gonna see, I can still use a shield against the Hydro Cannon. I can go for a Breaking Swipe, expecting that this would be able to maybe drop the opponent's attack here, which we will, which is cool. But does it really help us? Let's find out. The opponent can go for Hydro Cannon. I'm gonna let them actually farm me down just because I need some energy on my Annihilate, and maybe actually the less energy, the less damage that they just did with the Shadow Claw because of the debuff might help us out to win this battle, and it actually does. So Breaking Swipe, the move you want to go for now, definitely helped us out. It actually helped us out here, which is hilarious. But let's move on to the next opponent. By the way, we're battling against a lot of really good opponents here, so all the teams that you can see here, you can definitely copy as well. Like, that's the thing as well with the videos that I currently make, because I'm on the leaderboards as well while I was recording this. You see basically just people that run teams that definitely work in Go Battle League right now, and so any opponent that I'm facing, you can also just take a look at their team, and maybe that's a team for you. Also, issue for this team, Azumarill. Azumarill is going to be quite an awkward one. Usually, you play this team with a Bastion in the back and not like the Steelix in the back. And Bastion actually has a fairly decent matchup against Azumarill and actually wins against Azumarill if they're running Player Off plus Ice Beam, which most do. And so here, Steelix getting completely wrecked by Azumarill just doesn't really help us. And so, yeah, we have to kind of rely on the damage of Shadow Ball of our lead, as well as some pressure from our Dugong as a Say Swap, which can work out. Like, it definitely did work out quite often here as well. We are still forced to go for a charge move here, by the way. It is fine. We can still align ourselves, and we win CMP tie anyway. And if they want to use a shield, then they're gonna get Icy Wind anyway. Awkward, they have a Poliwrath in the back. I am forced to go into my Annihilate. I'm forced to overfarm by quite a bit. I'm forced to use my shield here. And I am going to be hopefully not forced to forfeit, but we have to find a way of still winning this battle. And maybe I make a little bit of a mistake here as well again. The power up is coming through, that's fine, we can go for the full farm down. And still at this point, like literally at this point, I still believe that Psychic Fangs takes more energy. I still go for one more time here, but I did not really think this through, most likely, because I decided to go for the Breaking Swipe now. I think my play was just to hope to get the, like, I don't know, like maybe get the counter that would knock them out now. I decided to go ahead and go for the, okay, now I don't think there was a way of winning this battle. Like, I'm just talking gibberish here anyway, and so we can move on to the next opponent. Next opponent, we're going to have a great lead and a kinda bad Say Swap for us. Like, we don't really have a good answer for this thing. Lanturn is an issue for our backline. And also, another issue is that we kinda need our Annihilate to beat that Sandslash. Yes, we're going to still have coverage at least on our Dugong for like this Pokemon, but it's still not really ideal. Here I make a mistake. This is not something I should have done. I should have just swapped out into my Dugong on the Surf because I would have not been able to go for the Thunderbolt anyway. And this would have been the best play that I could have done. I just realized it now. So like not like perfectly played by me for sure. But we're gonna see the Mantine coming in here. They have the Sandslash still in the back. And yeah, this is still a very good matchup for me because now I can basically force the Mantine to forfeit. I will take this. But honestly, no matter what, I would have been able to win the battle there because I would have still had alignment perfectly and also my Pokemon in the back. The Steelix usually wins quite decently against Mantine. I guess nowadays with Water Pulse as an option, it might not always be as easy, but it is what it is. Anyway, look at this. We're going to have a Cresselia against us. That is quite horrible. But funnily enough, Dugong is actually having a fairly decent matchup here against it if you just go straight for the Icy Wind. Because Icy Wind is going to drop their attack and now like 2 Grass Knots are not going to be enough to knock out the Dugong. Which is kind of cool because now we're going to get the shield back eventually. And we can let the move go through here as well. It's going to be that Grass Knot is not going to knock us out and they can go for another one. And that one is also not going to knock us out. And so we can definitely get the shield from the opponent back, but we kind of really want to align ourselves. We know already there's the Altaria lurking, which we don't want to have on our lead, but we really want to have it against our Steelix. And so, yeah, we kind of want to do everything in our way here to try to align ourselves. And as you're gonna see, the opponent decides to go for a Grass Knot. I can go for the Icy Wind again. I think they're at -4 attack now, which is kind of hilarious. And we will see that they are going to still use a shield. And by one turn here, I am going to lose this battle, and that is kind of annoying because now the opponent is going to be able to align themselves. I have to try to catch a move on our Steelix and hope there's something in the back that I can deal with it. Oh wait, it's a Stunfisk. Oh wait, that's a forfeit. There is nothing I can do. Oh wow, Psychic Fang is going to do like 0 damage, and I was thinking maybe I can go for a Shadow Ball later on against that Altaria. No, like the Shadow Ball would not do enough damage to knock them out anyway. Speaking of issues with this team, yeah, again, Feraligatr in the lead can be quite awkward, but I guess you still have a chance here at least. We're going to be able to get the shield from the opponent, which is kind of cool. We can use a shield, which is kind of fine. And we can have some more lag, isn't it lovely? So maybe the opponent would have went for a charge move straight away otherwise, but like the lag kind of was a little bit of an annoying thing. But they decided to go for the Crunch, which is fine. They swap out and catch the Ice move on the Dragon-type Pokemon. Good job there, trainer. That's not what you want to do. But it's still fine for us, because we can still even outspeed them here. They can only go for an Awkward Tail if they want to CMP tie against me, which they didn't. And so alignment is ours, which is lovely, especially considering that there is going to be that Sandslash in the back. We're going to be able to just go ahead and go for that Icy Wind. Icy Wind is going to be able to, yeah, drop the opponent's attack, plus also getting the final shield, which is lovely for us as well. And so Drill Run is coming through. We're going to use a shield on it. We can go for a Shadow Ball, and this Shadow Ball is going to be enough to knock them out. And so it is down to a Feraligatr with like 2 HP against Pokemon that I usually would beat, but not today on my Feraligatr friend, and we can now move on to the next opponent. Oh, look at this, we're going to have a Typhlosion in the lead. That's definitely a lead where you want to stay in, because your backline kinda struggles against this Pokemon. Typhlosion, very cool Pokemon, love this thing. Really cool what Niantic did with this thing. I feel like Thunder Punch is so cool for this Pokemon. You know what's also cool? Getting the boost here, and you know what's not really cool? That we lose the CMP tie. I thought I would win the CMP tie. Like, be honest with that. I thought Annihilate would have more attack than the Typhlosion. Turns out it does not have more attack than the Typhlosion. Yes, it seems like the Typhlosion does more damage because you have Incinerate, which is an insanely strong fast move in terms of damage output and energy generation. And you have the Shadow bonus on top of it. And so like Shadow bonus kinda usually, like doesn't matter for CMP ties anyway, but it kinda makes Pokemon that are maybe a little bit bulkier, or like kinda look a little bit squishier and more attack rated than they actually are. But apparently Typhlosion wins the CMP tie against Annihilate, and I actually kinda really want to see on the side real quick, you know, like how close that is. I feel like it could be something that's even tied to IVs, because Typhlosion and like Annihilate definitely is not a bulky Pokemon. Speaking of bulky Pokemon, we have an Azumarill against us, where we're still going to have a fairly decent spot anyway. Annihilate has 122.2 attack, and okay, Typhlosion has like 10 more attack stats, so it's not even close. It is not an IV thing. Typhlosion wins CMP tie every single time. That's good to know though. Anyway, we're going to see here the little snake boy here, the Superior, going for a Frenzy Plant, doing way more damage than it's expected. Like, this was debuffed, yeah, Frenzy Plant, which is still chunking away way more than I expected. But at least we can go for the full farm down. Now it's time for Azumarill to take some Psychic Fangs. First Psychic Fang coming through, going to be able to connect actually, as we can go for another one and drop the defense even more. And now we're gonna try to catch a move here from the opponent on our Dewgong, and we can. And so just enjoy, just enjoy this one. Isn't it lovely? Like, honestly, it is just perfect. And you know what's even better? A BM move for the last thing here for the battle as well. Let's go for the double resisted breaking swipe. Our next opponent, we're going to have a fairly neutral lead. They swap out into a Whiscash, and this Whiscash is going to throw its Scald against a Dewgong. That's not the way you're going to do that, Whiscash. Don't do it like this, man. But we're going to definitely have a great advantage from this. We don't even get the debuff, which is lovely. No, it's only 30%. It is quite nice, but you know who's going to get the debuff? The opponent here, because we have, of course, our, Icy Wind coming through. Also, what I kinda did not really expect is actually on how much damage the opponent does here, and I kinda underestimate the opponent here a little bit. I overfarm by quite a bit, expecting that I could go for the full farm down and let the Mud Bomb go through, but the opponent actually has another Mud Bomb already, and so I still decide to let this move go through. I swap back out into the Annihilate, keep my energy on my Dewgong, and maybe this can come in clutch later on. They decide to swap out into the Lickitung, which is not really ideal for me. I kind of like the Lickitung even against our Steelix, but Night Slash is coming through. By the way, for the Steelix I reset you see on the right side, this is exactly what you don't want to have for Steelix. Steelix already has insanely high defense. You would rather have a high HP variant of Steelix in order to survive a few more hits compared to getting the defense even higher. And just what I would imagine is the better IV spread. So don't really go for the IV spread that I have on the right side. It's mostly not ideal. But you know what's ideal? Of course, another boost on Annihilate. Night Slash is so insane. It's actually kind of funny because first time Annihilate got released, everybody was kind of thinking that Night Slash is kind of useless on this Pokemon because Dark and the Ghost type coverage basically do the same, but Ghost is just a little bit more neutral against more Pokemon. But you hit basically Psychic times for super effective damage and Ghost type for super effective damage, which is the main benefit of both of those types. But just the boost chance and also just the cheapest move there just helps Pokemon out so much more than Ice Punch does, which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, that's kind of the story of the Night Slash, I would say. The opponent tries to catch a move here on the Lickitung, which is totally fine. That's exactly what we kind of want to have. We get the attack drop as well, which actually going to benefit us quite a bit. You know why? Because we're going to be able to now get this extra counter in because the Body Slam is not going to knock us out, and we can go for another 2 or more Dragon Tails, and this is going to be game as the opponent gonna forfeit there. Final battle for today. Thanks all for watching already so far. Shoutouts to you guys. But now we're going to see still a very interesting battle against an Azumarill. Azumarill, again, is not really ideal for us, but if we can hit this big Shadow Ball, that is going to help us out quite a bit. Just like trying to catch a move on that Dewgong. And Dewgong is going to love that play rough most likely. We're going to be able to take a move quite easily. I can even decide to go for the Icy Wind if I wanted to. Might actually be the correct call to go for the Icy Wind, because then we would still survive 2 play roughs without any problem. And as you can see here, that's basically exactly the damage that we need here to knock them out that one Icy Wind would do. So that was mostly not the ideal play that I did there, but it is what it is. We can still try to Steam P-Tai, which is lovely. We did this before already. We always want to Steam P-Tai against the Azumarill, knocking them out, and we will see what they're going to have in the bag. It's going to be the Cresselia, and now they swap back out into the Typhlosion, which is great for us. I really want this to happen, and you know what is also great for us? Another boost from Annihilate. Annihilate is just so insane, and no way, everybody is playing this Pokemon right now. It is just ridiculous. Also, I make a slight mistake. I definitely make a slight mistake here, because I decide to go ahead and go into my Dewgong now. And the opponent goes for a blind move. Of course, I couldn't know this. But Thunder Punch would have been double resisted on our Steelix, but it is still fine. Look at this damage output of our Shadow Steelix, just chunking away from the opponent's health. Again, Breaking Swipe, not really ideal on this Pokemon. Either go for Earthquake or go for Crunch. It is just better than Breaking Swipe because, yeah, for me, I was thinking that Psychic Fangs would be a 40 energy move. It is a 35 energy move. And with this, it is going to be basically not as usable as Psychic Things. Like still, here in this case, Breaking Swipe is kind of fine, especially if we get this drop, 50% chance to drop the opponent's attack. It is still a great charge move to have, but Psychic Things just has more potential, and Crunch/Earthquake gives you better coverage because you already have Dragon type coverage with your fast move, but it doesn't matter anyway. We win this battle quite easily here. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Thanks for sending in me basically that team suggestion. If you have some interesting teams that I should try out, leave them down below, and I see you then. Bye bye.